And we are live.
Just like that. Just when you stopped caring, we left. We've returned. Look at that.
Just so you can not care about us again.
So
Hello,
this is,
everybody.
yeah, this is episode 15 of Funny Ball. Pretty crazy that we've actually recorded 14 of these already, and now going on 15. Welcome back. We've
If you're ever
missed
on a
you.
15-hour flight to Australia, I know what you're doing the whole flight. Just getting
I
into
think
some funny ball.
if you added everything up, yeah, it would most like pretty much any like super long one-way flight, like we would be able to, be like our entire canon would be viewable, if one were sick enough to do that. I think that would be like, some type of record probably. But
Oh,
pretty
you
cool.
think
We
raw
appreciate that.
dogging a flight is cool? How about you funny ball a flight and then
Yeah,
tell me
that's
how
like
you feel
that's the
afterwards?
new thing. Yeah, like you can watch. Why watch 3 movies and sleep when you can watch 14 straight hours of the Oakland A's? Not even like the Oakland A's, just people talking about the Oakland A's for 14
Yeah,
straight hours.
yeah.
Um, so we got some chat action in here. Ooh, new
Oh,
viewer out there. Bupto's back. Return of
we
Bupto.
Yeah, return of Andrew, live invite. Do you want to be on the podcast next week?
That'd just be another night in Andrew Broadus's world, I think.
Yeah, Andrew sees us laughing and thinks it's not a real invitation, but little does
Yeah,
he
I,
know
I I
it's
think
as
it's I think it's pretty real. I think
it's
knowing
as
him, I
real
think
as
he would know that it's
invitations.
real. Yes, that's a yes. Let's
Wednesday
go.
work for you?
Actually, wait, no, next week I can't do.
I know,
I
that's the
can't
whole
do.
point. I'm finding your replacement live on the podcast.
Andrew, how do you want to? How's it? You want to be me for a week? You can be me for a week.
Wednesday, it's got to be Wednesday. Oh, we could do Andy on the street. We could do.
Andy
All
on the
right.
street.
At
Yeah,
this
keep
point,
it.
this conversation is becoming less actually entertaining
Yeah.
now. I feel.
Okay. We will work out the details of
Andrew
this
will
later.
coordinate that behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that'd be awesome if we did that.
Uh,
All right, slow your roll
potentially,
there, buddy. Okay.
Andrew might be Wally pipping Will this week, guys.
Oh, imagine it's crazy like the amount of Wally pipping happening on the Oakland A's and literally on our pod because I'm getting Wally
Pretty
pipped.
nuts. Pretty
Yeah.
nuts. I will say too, is when Andrew inevitably hosts or co-hosts his episode, I'd like if we get 5+ people to email in and say they prefer Andrew to Will, we'll do it again. You know, we'll give it another test run, and we'll see. We'll find the two best hosts of Funny Ball at the end of the day, even if it's Will and Andrew.
It's like when they bring a kicker in a training camp to like push the guy in front of him, like he's Andrew's being brought in as competition. I think that'd be good for
It'd
the
be like
pod.
if coaches brought in other coaches to see if they were the best coaches. And then
Good. I
leave
think
if they weren't.
if the Lakers did that with someone if they brought in like JJ Redick like halfway through the season to like potentially usurp Darvin Ham, I think JJ Redick would have like legitimately won that. He probably would have
Yeah.
pushed out Darvin Ham.
Unfortunately, I feel like now this is not a Lakers nor a basketball pod, but
No, we're not.
I feel like you know what? I'll hold the analysis for another day. I don't think Darvin Ham was a fantastic NBA head coach. I'm gonna really go
I
out on
don't
a limb
think you're
there.
alone. I don't think that's the hottest take.
I won't go deeper. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I
But
don't think it's a hot take though.
Will, how have the A's been playing recently?
The A's have been playing some weird baseball. I'm not even going to say like great or terrible. So at the All-Star break, they sit at 39-61. So barring a really crappy second half, they should be well on track to actually eclipse their win total from last season. And for those of you who tuned in last time or have been paying attention to any funny ball content, I actually went to go see an A's game live, and they're real. Like those are actual guys playing baseball, not just like some simulation of random dudes have just been like you know entertaining and torturing us for the last month and a half or few months now. Wow. The A's went 1-2 against the Red Sox, and then they followed it up by going 2-1 against the Phillies, because that makes sense. The A's get blown out by the Red Sox in the game that I went to, and then the next day they roll in the Philly and they beat the Phillies, who were just off of sweeping the Dodgers. Like
Crushed
the
the
Shohei
Phillies, like for
Ohtani,
all intents and
yeah, like
purposes.
yeah.
Like taking
Now
two
was
out
a
of
little
three
bit of
from the
that.
Phillies. Oh,
Now was a little bit of that, like a bit of the the I guess all-star slide, maybe. I would like to think that it is. I mean, maybe the A's felt like they want to show that, hey, we're still a Philadelphia team deep down. We're not really we're a team without a home, but maybe we're gonna come back to Philly. Um, if the A's move back to Philly, I think that'd be very interesting. I don't think some people would like that very much, but yeah, weird baseball. And
can
then
we get
All Star
less
game
people to
happened.
go to our games? Is what they'd have to
Yeah,
ask themselves before making such a move. And
yeah, they would.
yeah.
But yeah, the All Star game happened, and the A's had one representative. I guess two if you count Mark Kotze as the honorary manager. But Mason Miller, the second or possibly tied for 1B of best closers in baseball. Maybe next. I guess you could. Somebody can
It's
argue
fair
that the
to say
Class A
Class
is
A is
as well.
better.
Yeah,
I know Class A could be considered better, and that's fair. He's got, years longer of doing it and has just been one of the few closers who I'm pretty sure hasn't had a down year since his like breakout season with Cleveland a few years ago. Really solid, but like I don't know. I think Mason Miller is like the only reason he's not better now is because of just a lack of experience in facing hitters. Where I feel like he's just made like his whip shows his whips, sub one. I mean, his mistakes are big. It feels like he'll have a 3-run outing or a 2-run outing. He doesn't really go 3 scoreless, and one time he gets dinged up 3 scoreless. It's usually like you'll go 12 appearances looking like the best pitcher who's ever thrown a baseball, inning for inning. and and then it'll be one blow up appearance. So I just feel like maybe just with more time and experience, we'll start to see those little blow up appearances a little bit less. And then then the ERA is going to look like the .9 whatever that Class A's looks like. And then Miller's also going to have, to me, what is just a better pitch mix than Class A. Class A has the funkiest pitch ever thrown in baseball history, for my money, at 101-mile-an-hour cutter. For reference, the best pitch ever thrown in Major League history, objectively and undeniably, is Mariano Rivera's cutter. It's a cutter and a pitch that was so good that he threw it 80% of the time, and he is considered the best closer of all time. So if he's the best closer, that's the best pitch. And Class A's is a good 7-8 miles an hour faster than it. Not to say it's better than it, obviously. We'll see. Time will tell. But just the fact that he has as crazy. But with that being said, I feel like Miller is a bit more of a quote unquote pitcher, just has a few more pitches that he throws a bit more often. And it makes sense. He was a starting pitcher very recently. So I don't know. I'm definitely hyping our boy up a little bit because I do think that it won't be long injury abiding that he is known as the best closer in baseball if he's not turned into a starter between now and then.
thought it was interesting that he took the plane over to Texas with the rest of the Phillies players that were in the All Star game. I think may or may not have some kind of correlation to it. I know he's been somebody who I guess has been like rumored if he were to get traded, it would maybe be to the Phillies. We'll see. I think any team that's going to be trading for Mason Miller is going to have to get up the farm at this point. But how about
So
striking out?
Will,
Sorry, go on.
let's do a
Go on.
hypothetical. Let's do a
Okay,
hypothetical.
hypothetical.
You're
Sorry,
Jay
on my
Fish.
roll.
You're Jay Fish.
Yes. All right, got it. Ugh.
Someone approaches you, someone that
Mhm.
likely works for you in some capacity. Hey, Jay Fish, you want to lose 20 grand or not?
Well, I'm already
Jay
moving
Fish
to
said,
Vegas, so what's
no.
losing another 20 grand?
No,
That'd be
Jay
my
Fish was
response.
like, I want to keep my 20 grand and I want to spend it on a pool or something.
Yeah,
And then there
probably more
Mason
of my
Miller
mindset.
goes with the Phillies jet. So I think that's probably how it happened.
Yeah, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
But how about going 1-2-3 with the top of the NL lineup? That was pretty cool. He struck out Shohei Ohtani and Trey Turner back to back. with his 104-mile-per-hour fastball and his slider. I think is the other pitch that he
Yeah.
favors.
Yeah.
It's a nasty just 1-2 punch of a combo there. Top of the NL lineup. I'm trying to remember, name escapes me at the moment. Who was the top of the NL lineup? I know we lined out to left when he faced.
Ketel Marte.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, I knew. Yeah, Diamondbacks guy. Yeah, it was Ketel Marte, and then
Sneaky good player. Like I
yeah,
feel like
absolutely,
being an
absolutely.
American League fan and like following everything and knowing dang well what Shohei's doing and stuff like that. But like yeah, it kind of sneaks by you that there is a second baseman in the National League that's pretty consistently 300 with some good pop and like decent defense. Like that's a really good player. That's like Jose Altuve without the notoriety.
Yeah,
So I mean,
absolutely.
not quite. I mean, Altuve hit like 350 one year. Like I remember growing up and like always looking and being like, oh, Altuve's hitting 340 again. So Altuve, maybe he had some help to get there, but Altuve's a good player.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue.
But yeah, Mason Miller went 1-2-3 in his 1 inning pitched in the All-Star game. Pretty cool to see him stack up against the big boys, get the props that he deserves. I mean, I think you and I both probably agree that Brent Rooker was still definitely a snub as a reserve, but that's all right. And A's baseball for the last 6 games was weird. They return on Friday to take on the Angels again for like the bajillionth time. I feel like every other week they're playing the Angels.
Yeah.
Which I guess like hasn't been that far from the truth. Like they have actually played the Angels like a considerable amount in the last like month and a half. And my AirPod fell out. And we got
I will say, talk about like, finding out the A's exist when you went. I'm pretty sure those games don't exist. A's versus Angels. I don't think they play
those
those
games.
games. I don't think
Well,
they
is that
play
like
those.
because is it like do the Angels exist?
Both exist, but like 162 games, sure, have the Red Sox, have the Yankees, have the Dodgers, have them all play 162, like get that money. But like I feel like they can cut some corners with the A's and Angels, and they can kind of just do one of those simulated things that they're showing that happen on like the projector kind of thing
Yeah.
right now. And
After Shohei left the Angels, I kind of just like it's like all right, to cut costs, save money, we gotta play late. We're gonna play 50 games, and that's it.
yeah,
The rest will
yeah.
be
How else is
simulated.
Seth Brown hitting 2 home runs, man? That's it's simulated.
Seth Brown gave
But
me a nod. He gave me a nod at the game. He's warming up. I think it was a bit awkward of a moment to ask him about the Idaho Department of Fish and Game, but he gave me a nod. He didn't get close
that's
enough for me
nice.
to like really like shout that out. And I probably would have gotten like a weird look if I said that, but
Yeah.
it was cool. He gave me like a yeah. That was cool.
That's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's nice. I'm happy he's back with the team because he's playing
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But it's also a guy
Slow,
that just
he's
been.
slow in real life, man. I could say
Can you
he's
beat him
not
in a race?
fast.
Well,
I probably not, but I would actually like my chances. I think like
wow,
I got a fighting chance against Seth Brown, I think.
I
And
like
like
that.
I'm not a world beater by any means, in a spring competition, but like I don't know. He looked a little slow out there.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't win. We used to do these races back in high school, and like we'd like pin up like everyone like was up for like pretty much everyone could have their name penned down on the sheet. We would just do it in our free time. I think I won once. It was against a girl. Not that it matters, but like I got dusted a lot.
Nice.
So I think Seth Brown, as slow as he is, any professional athlete's gonna get to me. But yeah, good on Seth Brown for acknowledging the funny ball pod, even if he didn't know that's what he was doing.
No, he didn't. JJ Bleday like definitely earned his stripes with
Do you want
us.
to
I mean,
save
he
it?
has
Do you want to save it? Do you want to save it? Do you want to talk
I
about
can
it
save
now?
it. I mean, I figured we were on the topic. We can save it though if you want.
Here, wait. Let's save it. Let's save it.
Okay, yeah, we'll save it. All right, more on that later then.
Yeah, more on
Want to
that
get
later.
to? I guess we can get to lumps and stars and all that fun stuff.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, I guess I got lumps this week.
I don't know why you keep insisting on doing lumps.
It's you say this every other week.
Yeah.
You say this like with like remarkable consistency every other week because it's every other episode, and that's the rotation that we have.
Right, which is that you're just underlying how often you try to give people lumps. That's crazy. Every
I
other week
mean,
you're trying to
you're
give someone a lump.
but okay, but if you're like like a glass half empty or a glass half full person, I guess whichever way you want to look at it, like I could say the same thing about you.
No,
You sure about that? Like,
I don't think so.
okay,
I don't think I ever hate on these professional athletes that give us free entertainment so often. I don't think I ever do that. But continue on.
all right,
Go and hate on, one of our beloved A's.
okay. Um, for the record, I think that that your argument is bunk, but
Uh,
furthermore,
tomato,
anywho,
tomato.
so I'm gonna give one lump to third baseman Brett Harris, and he's had some flashy defensive plays. I'll give him that. He's like every now and then you see like he just lays out for like a liner and it's awesome, but he just has not been a great major league bat at this point. I mean, he hasn't been as abysmal as his hitless streak that he was having before he got optioned down to AAA. But in the last 6 games, he's gone 3 for 22 at the plate and has had a sub 400 OPS. Abraham Toro has just started rehabbing in the minor leagues, so I would think that the spot is still definitely Toro's. Toro did not get Wally pipped at any point at third base, so I think he'll definitely be he'll be back. He'll be back to claim his spot once he's healthy enough to play again. But yeah. Oh, also, I am going to say something else about Brett Harris. When I went to the Sox game, some kid was asking like, "Hey, can you like come sign my stuff?" And Brett Harris said, "Yeah, yeah," like after the game. And then he just like
Yeah.
never came back out. He just went to the dugout, and just went to the locker room. He never came
Oh,
back
that's
out.
awful. That's
Dude,
rough,
like, I
man.
mean, like, to be fair, like, nobody like, none of the players did. They kinda just, like, retreated back into the dugout pretty much after the game was over, but
Yeah.
it was, like, after the
Damn, I
games,
was about to
and
say, I had, like, a good, like I had seen, like, a little YouTube short of, Brett Harris, like, a dude approaching him with, like, a little pack of, like, '80s baseball cards or something. Be like, "Hey, Brett, we mind being on my video and we can open some baseball cards?" And he seemed so nice, and he was like,
he
"Absolutely, man,"
seemed
and he, like,
when he
did
said
it,
it,
and
he was very nice about it, so, like, it may have not
yeah.
been in his control, like, it did in
No,
his
no, no, we shouldn't defend him at this point. You're
okay.
gonna give a lump and you're gonna mention how, Brett Harris was, terrible to the children. We gotta we can't give him excuses, as well as
Okay.
look at Kelly. I mean, we've definitely got the audience as well, just a little sick and tired of your same old, every other week shtick of giving people lumps. I mean, that's right.
Oh,
That's right. Um,
jeez.
but,
Alright.
uh, but hey, good lump. He has a 3 something OPS in the past couple series. It's
So you do
good lump.
agree, right? Okay.
I agree with that one. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
that's fair.
especially after hearing that story of how I bet you some people waited at least 10 minutes after the game. Like, they gave him some time and, like
I was expecting to see like, I was expecting to see him. I mean, if nobody else came out, I would have understood, but like, he said it. I mean, you
did
say
you
something
say,
like
like,
that.
for him too? Like, so you could potentially get a little Brett Harris action after the
I
game? Like, did
was
you?
like, I was, I actually, yeah, I was expecting
I
to,
would've,
yeah,
at least for the pod. Yeah.
yeah, I was expecting to hopefully like, at least, see his face or something like that. But nah, just got out of there, got in the next fight to Philly.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
next flight to A's AAA, after Toro's back, unfortunately for
next,
him. So,
yeah, next flight
um,
to Vegas probably. But
such a tweener right now because he's been murdering AAA pitching when he's been down there
yeah,
this year. At least I'm pretty sure. At least at one point, not that long ago, he was pretty sure he continued until he got called up again. So, Seth Brown was doing something similar, except hey, we're not going to mention him among the lumps this
no,
week. I
no, definitely not.
anticipate at least.
Definitely not.
Um, so, yeah, just interesting, with him. But you ready for a star?
I am. You're always so bullish on these A's, like you're always wanting to heap praise on them when they're a team that's like, sub 40 wins.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work the other way around because I'm being a
Okay.
nice guy. You
I
know,
take it
like it just
passive.
kind of makes you further sound like a guy who doesn't like joy, which, you know, teach their own. I like this
I
narrative
get
that
my
I'm
I get
slowly
my
building about you.
yeah, I get my sick kicks because I like just
Yeah.
crapping on the A's. Is just how I get my kicks.
I think that's the first time you leaned into it really well. Which I
Yeah.
like being the guy who hates joy.
I hate
But
joy and I
anyway,
hate baseball, you know?
I think all that talk about you know, pessimism lost us a viewer, which is too bad. We should
Mm.
always be checking if we lose a viewer or not, and immediately change what we're doing if we lose a viewer in an attempt to keep the other ones. I think that's good podcasting.
Were you implying that I was changing like immediately after we
No,
lost
not at
a viewer?
all.
Oh, okay.
No, no, I'm saying we should. I'm saying like we lose a viewer
Oh,
and then
oh,
we
oh.
become like a cake baking like podcast or something, man.
Oh,
We can't
okay,
keep
okay.
losing these viewers.
I guess now would be a good
Um
time to give us your Darvin Ham take then, if that's what you're
oh,
going for.
well I kind of said it generally. Yeah, I guess we can do a Darvin Ham break.
Yeah. That one person that dropped out, they're gonna miss out on your Darvin Ham take.
I hope it's Andrew, the guy who actually would have been interested in it. But yeah, I just feel like a very poor X's and O's coach and probably got hired based on his uh kind of everything else in terms of locker room experience in the locker room, experience around players, being a player yourself. And I think they overestimate his ability to be a good X's and O's coach, as there are just many, many instances of him being outcoached. And it's a very simple, like it sounds very simple. And someone who doesn't believe me, I'd of course need to provide a bit more evidence in what I mean, but watch the tape. It's really bad. Like there are literal plays where players are like colliding with each other on similar cuts and stuff. Like there are some embarrassing instances of poor coaching. And I also feel like it must be incredibly hard to coach LeBron and like to like institute stuff. Cause I'm sure like he is very vocal. I'm sure LeBron is in terms of the type of actions that they're running and just their overall like basketball ideologies that they're going to have throughout the season and stuff like that, where I'm sure that's not an easy job, but Darvin Ham was not the right guy. And I think he got an assistant coaching gig, which is awesome. I'm sure he could absolutely contribute immensely as an assistant coach when he doesn't have the brunt of being the head coach of the Lakers on his back. So there's a bit more of a full Darvin Ham take.
Yeah. Also, I think, any team that's employing Torian Prince is like you're starting small forward for like,
Yeah.
more than a few games in a season, probably.
You know that anecdote? I hope it's real. That there is like there is like of course a 5-6 game stretch where Torian Prince was playing like 39 minutes a game, you know? And there's an anecdote that was actually reported on that I hope is real, that Darvin Ham was like approached in the middle of that fifth game by one of the assistant coaches in like the third or fourth quarter and said, "Hey, you know, Torian Prince has been playing like 40 minutes a game recently." And Darvin Ham was like, "Oh shoot," and he stopped doing it.
Just unaware that he was just like playing
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It seems like
Oh
there's
boy.
no way that can be true just because you'd have to be seeing the box score after the game. He's an NBA head coach. He's Darvin Ham and he played in the league for so long and he's not an actual dummy. But like I would like to think, or at least maybe that like it happened in one of the first few games or something. And I don't know. I'd like to imagine Darvin Ham being like, "Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I thought I'd subbed him out for 8 minutes at one time."
It was the one time he took his hands out of his pockets on the sideline.
Exactly. Yeah. I like how most coaches have like a thing on the sideline that makes them themselves. Mike Woodson, my dad and I always joke that Mike Woodson always looked like he just realized he didn't know where his wallet was. So kind of.
That's a good
Um,
one.
but anyway, I haven't given a star yet, have I?
No, you haven't. Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
Yeah. There's a lot of players that played really well. I'm going to give it to, I feel weird doing it too because I feel like he deserves a bit more, especially with how bad some of the downs have been. But let's give it to JP Sears. JP Sears.
Yeah. No, he's been holding it
Just
down. Like it.
second.
I said I was just agreeing with you. I think he's been holding it down. I like it.
Yeah. No, he's been great. And just of course we're going based off one game in the past 6 games, but yeah, got the dub and pitched over 5 innings and only gave up a run, 4 hits. Just a very solid game and a guy that has shown on many occasions that he can be good and he can go through and he can get you a little bit of length as well as some soft contact. Obviously is not as much of a strikeout or a swing and miss guy. But as long as you're kind of given the length every now and again and you're consistently over 5 innings, which he went only, 1 point whatever that one start, which was pretty garbage. But almost he like was due for a bad one. It felt like he had been pitching super well around that time. But yeah, shout out. And I wish I could give him more, but I don't feel like I can with how some of these other guys have been playing. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think JP, he deservedly got some lumps last time, but and again, we can't, like you said, we can't be too bullish on him because he did only play one game in the last 6 games, but
Good game.
yeah, it was a good game. It was the one Red Sox game that they actually took. So, can't be too upset about that. So, good for him.
Good
We'll
for him.
see. I mean, I'm sure he'll still be a mainstay in the rotation once everybody's like good and healthy and all that fun stuff.
JP Sears has got it on lock. I mean, all
Yeah.
right, this is actually a fun game. Who has got it on lock right now? Who is not leaving the rotation when Wood and Stripling and I mean, and we can throw
Blackburn, well,
Gual
actually,
into there. And
Blackburn
of
and
course.
Blackburn and Stripling are on a rehab assignment right now. Alex Wood
Yeah.
is not. Joe Boyle still toiling in the minors.
It's an
But
interesting question.
Ross Stripling and Blackburn are rehabbing right now. So
Yeah.
they're actually relatively close. I believe they're actually in AAA right now. So they could be close.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, well, Medina actually went down with an injury, so Medina is actually kind of out of the rotation at the moment. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
say the rotation they keep.
The more I think about it, the more of an actual question it is. I think I have my answer, but I it's definitely not like an automatic answer, for
Uh,
lack of better words.
I think it's JP. The locks for JP Sears, Joey Estes, and Paul Blackburn.
Yeah.
I would say Mitch Spence should probably still be in there as like a fourth or fifth starter.
All right. Well, remember Hogan Harris, so that's your
Oh,
5.
and Hogan Harris. Actually, no, Hogan Harris. Hogan Harris,
Well,
and
that
then
would be your 5. But the tough
Yeah,
thing,
that'd be
I
the
think
5, and then Ross Stripling out of the bullpen, I
so
think.
that was my big thing that like was a big
Yeah.
kind of realization I came to. I think Ross is out of the bullpen, but that's tough because I can't remember
Yeah.
the last time he's done that, if ever, like in the past decade of his life.
I think but
And
the only person you can reasonably move back to the bullpen is like Mitch Spence. I
I
mean,
was about to
everybody else
say,
is
but that's
yeah.
seamless. That's seamless. It really depends on if the A's actually think that there's a future for Spence in the rotation, or if that was purely something like, hey, we're kind of doing this out of necessity. But he actually held his own much better than we thought. But still, it's like we view him as a long relief, eventually,
Yeah.
maybe even high leverage reliever. Or maybe they're like, yeah, screw it. He's young. We'll see what we have here. Pitchers get hurt so often, so it's like you make the decision and then like Stripling's back in the rotation a couple weeks later. But I definitely agree
I don't see Medina in
that,
the rotation.
well, he's now hurt, so I don't think he's going to get a shot at it with Stripling
No.
and Blackburn back on
No.
rehab. Blackburn's definitely, so it is just interesting. Where of course we also have Alex Wood. Who, do we have any timetable on Wood?
No, he hasn't even started a rehab assignment. I mean, he could fully just be like out for like the rest of the season. Who knows? I mean,
Because
it's
whenever
yeah,
Alex Wood came back, if he came back, he would probably be back in the rotation himself. So
probably,
um
but he
but
is
yeah, I
not.
don't see
Yeah.
anything. That's ironic.
No.
The last update was from a month ago and it said he's gonna play catch soon. I wonder if he ever played catch. That was a month ago and we've gotten no update since.
Yeah, so he is nowhere near a return.
Yeah,
So I
so
wouldn't even think that I wouldn't even factor him into the equation.
makes sense not to think about him.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
probably one guy in the bubble would be like Mitch Spencer, Ross Stripling. That's the bubble. But I mean, Blackburn's gonna
I'm just
reclaim
saying. All
his
right, let's
spot.
go over it again. Hogan, Harris, Estes, and Mitch. We'll not count Mitch Spence.
Blackburn,
Blackburns or
JP
potentially
Sears.
JP Sears, and then Stripling Spence.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
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 That makes
Cool.
sense.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go, Cots. We just laid it out for you.
Yeah, there you go.
We know.
Bring us
we know
on as
you're
an honorary
listening.
manager next All-Star game, you know?
Dude, what if they had like me managing like the American League and you're managing National League, and like everyone was
cool.
like, "This makes sense."
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Funny Ball Podcast is hosting the All-Star game.
Where's the All-Star game next year?
Good question.
All-Star game 2025 is going to be in San Francisco.
Oh.
Wait, no, right. Sorry, that's NBA. Sorry, that's NBA All-Star game.
Oh.
Wait, MLB All-Star game 2025. Where is that going to be? Atlanta. It's going to be in Atlanta.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, the pride of Atlanta, me and Will.
Funny Ball goes to Atlanta in July 2025. We're all for it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Maybe that's how we grow the audience. We streak the All-Star game next year.
Yeah. Just like streak and then like carry a huge banner that says like at Funny Ball Pod as like like running through the field, and then like get tackled and arrested and like get a lifetime ban from the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, but the fact that Vitali guy is like not behind bars right now, and he's done that like 12 times, lets me know that it's definitely something that the legal system's okay with you doing at the end of the day, because they have not. That Vitali guy would be so in jail if like they wanted to actually crack down on that.
Hey, you know what? Like here we are talking about him. So
he did the World Cup. Like that's
nuts.
Pretty
nuts. Yeah,
the Super Bowl and the World Cup. I think he's done both.
he's got like all these events like plotted out in a map, and it's just like that's like the next one he's gonna hit.
Seriously, like there has to be some calculation behind it if he's gonna book the tickets and do it all and stuff, and like have a video crew. Geez, I hope that guy's not doing okay. He seemed like an awful dude from the little insight he gave us into his character.
That's funny.
But anyway,
we'll be doing ours tastefully, as tastefully as you can do such a thing.
Fully clothed. So
yep. There you go. Well, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other way we can be respectful? We'll speed walk. So
I don't know if you got like security swarming you. I don't know how long you're going to be speed walking. You might start picking up the pace pretty quickly, I think.
Well, but then more security people start chasing you, and then you've got like 4 dudes tackling you versus like 1 or 2 if you like speed walk and get caught soon. Which is why you also get a blimp to go over the stadium with Funny Ball on it. So it's kind of like you're hedging your bet there a little bit in case you get caught pretty early. You got a blimp going above as well, and they're like, "Oh my god, is that the same thing that was like written on that guy?" And then everyone takes out their phones, looks it up, and they're like, "Wow, there's a YouTube channel. Let's subscribe." And then
all right, Funny Ball goes to Atlanta 2025. Book it.
Yeah, we're both on the watch list now.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like that, one of those 3 viewers is like Atlanta Police Department right there. Yeah,
exactly. They just said it, guys.
All right. 2 lumps of coal. God. 2 lumps of coal. Yep, I know. I insist upon it. I'm like the Godfather. I insist upon myself. Shout out Family Guy fans who know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one.
Okay, that was a Family Guy reference.
Gotcha.
I actually love The Godfather. I think it's a great movie. But
yeah, Godfather's one of the best.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
Hot take.
Scorching hot take. The Godfather's a great movie.
Yeah, we just lost another viewer after that. I'm just kidding. We didn't. They're all here.
Yeah. All right, that's good. All 3 of you. The few and the proud. It's like the Marines.
The Marines.
The Marines, as we're calling our audience.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, 2 lumps of coal. I'm going to give it to Luis Medina, the pitcher that I got to see live and in concert. After seeing him live, I can say that he sunk it up. He had 6 earned, 2 homers, 2 walks, and he gave up 3 runs in the first inning. So That was a game that got out of hand pretty early. And though he somewhat settled after the first inning, it just really was not a night for the A's at all. Tanner Houck was just absolutely just shoving on the mound for the Red Sox, and Medina didn't exactly get any run support. So, wasn't a whole lot he could do even if he were pitching well, but, wasn't great, and he's probably going to lose a spot in the rotation. So I hate to kick a man while he's down, but, I guess it's part of my villain arc. So we're just going to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
After that game, Tanner Houck went home, and on the drive home, he's like, "Oh, this is like the best week ever. Like this week couldn't get any better. The one thing that can make this week any worse is if I give up a 3-run home run to Shohei Ohtani in the All-Star game in my inaugural All-Star appearance. That would make this week bad," is what he was thinking to himself. And I feel really bad for him that's exactly what happened.
Was he pitching when that happened?
He gave up the home run to Shohei. I'm pretty sure. Gosh, wait.
No. Let me. No, you're right, because sorry, I was thinking of the other.
Now, before I quadruple down on it, let me make sure that I'm right. I'm pretty sure that's how right. On the mound.
I do believe you're right.
Yep, that's how 4 hits, 3 earned runs.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of the NL pitcher that gave up the home run to
Webb. Or
yeah, was it? I thought it was Green.
Oh yeah, it was Green. Yeah.
Webb Green
wasn't great though.
No.
In the game,
but yeah, the one where the AL like tied up the game, or something like that.
Yeah, Jarren Duran's home run.
Yeah, exactly. Red Sox
good player. Good player that Duran.
Yeah, I don't think he had an amazing outing when I went. It was most of the. Did Jarren Duran hit a home run? I'm trying to remember.
He's played well. So I mean, or the Red Sox. I meant that's funny. I said the A's played well.
Let's see what. He walked, but he scored a run because one of the other home runs like
Captain Check
batted him in. Yeah, but he actually did go 0-3 in the game that I saw.
Jeez, that's gross. Everyone in the lineup was pretty bad, except for Wong, Yoshida, Abreu, and then Hamilton was okay. But he still struck out twice.
Wong, Abreu, and Yoshida were all the ones that hit home runs in that game. I saw it. I believe, and I think Kelly could probably help me remember this. I think it was Connor Wong that hit it over the Green Monster, which was pretty sick. I believe it was Connor Wong, but
yeah. That was the thing that ruined my childhood, was finding out that it's easier to hit home runs over the Green Monster than I thought when I was younger. When I was like really young, it was so huge and stuff, and I like. Back then, this is not how I would have contextualized it, but like knowing what I know now, I would have said like that has to be like 600 feet or something. That's crazy. How do you hit it above that? And then I found out like the Green Monster is like 270 feet in or something.
Yeah.
And it's actually one of the easier left fields to hit a home run over. And pretty funny.
Okay, back to it. It was Connor Wong. All right, thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that.
There you go.
Cool. Yeah. 2 stars.
2 stars. 2 stars. 2 stars. You say you want 2 stars. I can give you 2 stars.
No more, no less. Give me 2.
No more, no less.
No more, no
less. Yeah. I thought up until right now, I thought I knew exactly where I was going with this, and I actually don't know exactly where I'm gonna go with it. I'll just do this. You know what? I'll do this, and it'll make sense later too when I'm doing this. I'll just do Lawbutt right now. What a crazy stretch for the Lawbutt.
He was I believe he was AL Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, and so pretty ironic how I'm only giving him 2 stars opposed to 3, and I'll explain that later. But yeah, 5 freaking homers
in the game that I saw. But
ironically, right? But 5 homers in 6 games. Like what?
Yeah. Most of them came in the Philly slugfest, but yeah.
exactly. But just yeah, good for Law. But again, a lot of them came in that slugfest where if they were more evenly distributed, that would have been even cooler and would actually probably have factored in to him being 3 versus 2 stars. But yeah, nothing to get upset about if you're Law, but coming up and contributing just in any way, because defensively he's solid, and we've known that. It's just weirdly for a guy who swings the bat hard, we have the swing speed metrics, and he is definitely, not to say he's anywhere close to like Stanton, but he's definitely in the upper echelon. He's got a some red on his swing path metrics, speed metrics rather, and the swing just looks good. Like you kind of can tell with a guy versus another. It's like I hate to do this. You watch Nick Allen swing and like hit a baseball, and you're like, that thing's probably not going very far. It just doesn't look, whether it's the path or a little bit more of if a player is a little bit too much of an uppercut versus like a tomahawk chop versus just a very level kind of swing follow through. If there's any hitch in the swing or they're lifting their leg up too much, there's just certain things that can make a swing look worse. And sometimes, I mean, there are certainly players with some ugly stances, even though usually their swings are always going to be very clean if they're a good hitter. There's some players with some ugly stances that get it done. More often than not, your gut of watching two guys swing a baseball bat and hit a ball, even if they do the same exact thing with it, the guy who looked like he was about to do more damage is the more often than not, at least the better power hitter, usually the better hitter. And Laba looks like he's going to do damage. So it was always, that's where I was going with all that. So it was just pretty discouraging, to see him have a sub Mendoza line callback and just not be even hitting for too much power, especially when the defense is good and he's young, where if the bat came along a bit more early on, he would have never been sent down. The A's want Laba to play well. Of any other player, he's probably top 5 players on their roster that the A's themselves want to play well. So, really cool to see some returns and just great for him. And you never know. Some guys, it's like takes in 3 homers in a game, takes a couple really good weeks. It just takes something happening, and then they kind of it lock in, it clicks, and maybe it's confidence or maybe it's just literally figuring out something, mechanically, but whatever it is, and if it's happened or not with Laba, I just definitely like what we saw.
Yeah, he's had a good stretch, and getting his AL Offensive Player of the Week award was well deserved. So
Heck
good to
yeah.
see it. Good in him. Good in him. Wish he saved some of it for when I saw him, but still pretty cool.
Out of juice. He was out of juice.
He was out of juice, I guess. Speaking of being out of juice, I'm going to give some dishonorable mentions.
I love how I somehow just set you up with that.
Yeah, you did. It was a little forced, but it was set up. Something was set up.
Take it. It's good podcast chemistry.
Mentions. There you go. All about the chemistry, baby.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So dishonorable mentions. I'm going to give one to. It's kind of a weird one. I guess I'll get the weird one out of the way. The weird one's Joey Estes. It was kind of really the tale of 2 starts for him. So he followed up his complete game, his complete game shutout, no less, by getting shelled against the Red Sox, not even making it out of the second inning, as Kelly would like to say, perishing on the mound like a Victorian child.
Well put.
And then, but he had a good start against the Phillies. So I don't know, maybe it was just one of those bad games that every pitcher has. So I guess I can't go too wild with it and everything. But he also he was actually the one person that made an appearance after the game.
That's cool.
I think was there for somebody else, but he walked over to the section and he was like talking to somebody, and I think he was like meeting with probably like an old friend or something like that who came to support. But so I didn't want to get in the way of that. But it was cool. I was like, okay, like he actually came out. Yeah, I'll give him a dishonorable mention just because he had a rough start against the Red Sox, but I think he'll be fine. He's an exciting part of the rotation. He's definitely here to stay.
Yeah.
My other dishonorable mention, I'm going to give to the newest, the newest member of the Harris family. I'm going to give this one to Decker Harris.
Definitely the
take
youngest recipient of any sort of dishonorable
yeah.
mention or lump on this podcast.
Yeah, so, congrats to Hogan Harris and his family. I think it's their first child,
Oh,
that's
don't play both
oh,
sides.
okay.
If you're gonna give the kid a
It's
lump,
exciting,
give
you
the
know,
kid
I
a
like, this
lump.
is a joke. This is a jokey dishonorable mention. Alright, so
I was very quick to get back off the joke though. You didn't even explain the joke. No one knows who Decker is.
Decker Harris, for context, is, Hogan Harris's, newborn baby son who was born last week. So I was actually
Who
scheduled
Will
to
has a
see
gripe with.
I got a bone to pick,
Ooh.
with this little, 8-pound, loaf,
Don't
in
let
the
him sin your
bassinet.
throne again, Will.
Yeah, so, this is doing real bad for my character and our 3 viewers, but, so this newborn
Will,
baby.
people are questioning Will's character during this episode of the podcast. The fact he's
This is
giving
where it
lumps,
all
he's hating on babies, man.
yeah,
Uh,
I know,
Team Trevor, man.
So, so I was scheduled to see Hogan Harris on the mound, and then because of because of Decker Harris being born, I had to see Luis Medina stink it up instead. So, thanks for that, Decker. Kind of weird name for a baby anyway.
Have you seen the
Um,
show, Decker?
Decker, like as in like Decker Mind Wipe and Adult Swim and whatnot.
No.
No?
It's Tim Heidecker's show.
Yeah, Decker. Yeah, it's
Oh, is
like
that what you're
for different
talking about?
season, yeah, one of the seasons was called Decker Mind Wipe. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know
Yeah,
that. I
I
haven't
know it's
watched
Tim
all of
Heidecker.
it. I just
Okay,
saw a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
the first
But
season.
yes,
Then. I
I
didn't
have
even
seen
know
some of
there's.
yeah,
Yeah.
different seasons like had different titles. Yes, I am familiar with the Tim Heidecker.
Shout out to
perspective.
Decker,
Yeah, shout out Decker.
but not
Shout
that
out,
Decker, not the
not that
baby,
Decker.
not
No,
the
no,
dumb
not
baby, man.
yeah, not the dumb baby Decker.
Wait, DBD.
Yeah, dumb baby.
I don't know how that would ever come up again, but it has to, and it probably will.
Dumb
But
baby
anyway,
Decker.
DBD.
Yeah.
Don't be DBD,
Thanks for
man.
making me watch Luis Medina stink it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I paid good money for those tickets to see Hogan Harris and see your dad pitch, but no, you couldn't wait, you couldn't hit the snooze, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt sick saying that.
Will is just doing irreparable damage.
I like
his,
guys. I like newborn babies. For the record, I'm not a baby hater. I don't actually hate newborn babies. I'm very happy for Hogan Harris's family. I'm just putting that out there. I'm not a.
Let's see if we can cut that.
You really want my character stock to just like.
I don't know. I feel like there's an open opportunity here to get the audience on my side, and that's just one early on. It's like first impressions. Well,
I'm just digging myself a deeper hole by continuing to hate on Decker Harris.
Can't wait for the next baby you're gonna talk about next week.
I got a new baby that I'm hating on every week.
Will's least favorite baby of the week.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna stop dishing out lumps of coal, man. I'm just dishing out, baby hate at this point.
I saw this baby on the street the other day. I went up to the mother. She said his name was Arnold. Oh, what a terrible baby.
I went up to this mom and just told her baby just sucked. Dude, her baby straight up sucks.
Oh, I looked at that baby. That was a bad baby, man.
Dude, that baby gave me the dumbest stare, man. I know all that
Some
baby was thinking about.
Yeah, dude.
I knew all that baby was thinking about was how it was going to soil its diaper, in the next 5 minutes.
Inside the mind of a baby.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, that's that was good. Well,
that's it.
That was a good dishonorable mention. I support that. I think your game could have been better if Hogan Harris was on the mound. I agree with that.
I think they still would have lost, but
shout out to my dad. Shuts him down.
I want to give a random shout out to my dad for actually correctly predicting the score of that game.
Oh, that's too bad.
We went around. We predicted. Yeah, I know, right? But we went around and predicted. My prediction was 5-3 Sox win. My dad was 7-0 Sox win, and that ended up being the score. So shout out to my dad. My dad knows ball. Yeah. So Kelly said her dishonorable mention is me after that whole combo. I deserve that. I deserve that. That's funny.
Oh man, dear
I own that.
Decker, I'm sorry that man is your father. But okay.
You gotta you gotta do the Meet the Grams beat over that.
Exactly. Maybe we'll do
Dear
a
Decker,
TikTok.
I'm sorry that man is your
Yeah, if you piece it out.
Meet the Gram after like Hogan Harris is like an absolutely terrible start. We'll just like have that like Meet the
Yeah.
Grams beat. Yeah,
Yeah, DVD man.
yeah,
But okay, you ready for my honorable mention?
yeah, man. Let's do it.
So if we had no players play well this week, it would have been the player that I'm about to say. But the fact that we had a player that played really well this week that I think genuinely has earned 3 stars. Honorable mention, JJ Bleday. Will, take it away.
Yeah, so JJ Bleday saved himself from a lump in this pod. His numbers are
Certainly
definitely kind of
did in
deserving.
hindsight. Yeah.
But JJ Bleday, man of the people, for those of you who have been following the stuff. So JJ Bleday, and I'll show you this. I'll hold this up to the camera. He actually autographed my hat, which is freaking sick. He was going around signing a bunch of baseballs and kid stuff, and I was like the tallest, most terrible looking child standing along the section there. But I was the one person with A's stuff on, and I asked him if he could sign my hat, and he was like, "Yeah, man." So he walked over, and I borrowed a Sharpie from some kid next to me, and the video is him putting his iconic JJ on my hat. So it was cool. Me getting that autograph meant that the 7-year-old next to me didn't. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. I actually like I'm pretty sure didn't that kid like get his baseball signed? I feel like you're kind of saying that. I don't know if that's accurate. I mean, in a desperate attempt to save my
I'm
character.
gonna go
I
with
don't think
Kelly's
it's fully
version of
accurate.
events. I think that's funnier and
I'm the
very
guy that
like
just
Judd
puts out a
Apatow movie.
7-year-old. Yeah, but I got my hat signed by JJ Bleday. That was super cool of him. Apparently he made a round of autographs while I was in the bathroom. But I came out and he did another round, which is good.
Very cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. JJ had a quota and I used up a spot. You know what? That's if it's a quota, that's on him for having a quota.
Yeah, that hat's worth its weight in gold, you know.
Yeah. But I was pretty happy that this hat is officially part of A's history. I was really hoping I could get more players to sign it, but he was the only one who was like actually legitimately signing stuff.
Part of funny ball history, you mean?
Yeah, right.
You said A's history. I don't know if the hat has now become part of A's history because of maybe. I mean, there's a way you can make that argument.
A little hyperbolic to say that, I guess. But yeah, JJ Bleday was super cool for that. So I got my first actual baseball player autograph from him.
Very cool.
From one of 7 5-tool players in the league, as you would say. But
yeah. I think we can start now. We've introduced the idea so often we can stop explaining it and we could just leave it at that. One of the 7 5-tool players in the league. We don't need to say
7 5-tool players in the league.
His merits or why.
The other A's player from Pennsylvania.
It's true.
I looked up Danbury, PA. It's really in the sticks, man. Like I looked it up. It's like, dude, it's I think it's like western side of the state. I think he went to high school, I believe, in Erie, PA, but he was born like just in like some like small town, like west side of PA, like really like not even. I wouldn't even like call it like greater Pittsburgh area. I hope I'm not like appropriating that by saying that. Danbury, PA.
This is Danbury in Connecticut.
Sorry, no, Danville. Sorry, Danville.
Maybe you're thinking of the Danbury in Connecticut.
No, it's Danville, Pennsylvania. Actually, no, it's Central PA. It's kind of it's not your anything. Yeah, Danville's Danville's actually like okay, it's not totally west. Sorry, he went to high school in Erie, grew up in Danville, PA, which is like somewhere between.
We deservedly just lost a viewer.
No, we just lost another viewer because no,
we deserved it that time. We spent 20 seconds trying to narrow down exactly where JJ
it was because My dad said that he's actually been to Danville, PA. That's funny. Well,
That's cool.
congrats, Dad. You've been to where the guy who signed my hat
The
was
stomping
born.
grounds.
That's he's probably the most famous. You and JJ Blade are the two greatest people to ever set foot in Danville, PA.
Well, we got to get him
So
back, man. We got to get the viewer back.
no, it was
How do we
because
do it?
was it Danville? Was that the reason we
It was
lost the
in the
viewer?
middle of all the Danville business, I will
Ah,
say.
darn, I messed up.
But
All right.
we'll get him
Well,
back. We'll get him back.
yeah.
We'll show him. We'll show them. But
Okay.
anyway,
I guess I'll give my 3 lumps of coal. 3 lumps of coal.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll get that. I'll be sure to bring them all back.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 lumps of coal I'm going to give to Miguel Andujar, our
Oh,
left fielder.
that one actually makes my stomach feel bad.
Yeah, it does feel poopy and icky.
Oh, God, he didn't walk
he's
once. I didn't even
No, he
realize
didn't.
that. Yeah.
He went
Sorry, take it away.
426 in the last 6 games with a sub 500 OPS. And he's just been terrible at the plate. Like, he just has not been great. He just hasn't done a whole lot of stuff offensively. I feel like we've been saying this for like the past few weeks now, but I guess I'm giving him 3 lumps because he's a guy that the A's really should be relying on as a consistent sort of offense, and he's been, having a blistering start to the season, but seems to have been dried up. I think some of his, batting juice was given over to Lawrence Butler, maybe,
Maybe.
a la passing of the torch. But Miggy's been bad. Miggy's been poopy. I don't think Miggy did anything of note in the game that I saw. He did not. He went 0-4. He struck out twice in that game. Yep. Yeah.
Typical bad Miggy game when the bad game happens. It looks pretty bad.
Game. Yeah.
Not a lot of walks come in the bad games for Miggy. And also, just defensively, if he's not hitting, he's usually, even though he made that one insane play, probably still the play of the year for the A's defensively. But with the exception of that, he has not given much with the glove. And if the pass is any indication, he probably will continue not to give much with the glove. So he has to hit to maintain his value. And he will. I mean, there's like several stretches of him hitting over 400 in 3 series sample sizes. So it's like kind of due to not be great. And I have the utmost belief post All-Star break that he'll hit the ground running with the bat again, hopefully. And if he doesn't, maybe we start to look at just the fact he hadn't had consistent at bats in Major League Baseball for a while, and how scouting probably fell behind him somewhat in terms of if he's made any approaches in the past, or approach changes in the past couple of years, or if he's just anything's changed mechanically. That would affect maybe how you get him out, and the fact that he was hitting so well and he was so blisteringly hot for so long at the beginning. If this, slump were to keep happening, then maybe that's something else to consider, is that maybe there's, and then something to look for while we're watching the games of like, is there a very consistent way that teams are approaching it? Are they pitching them a lot up and in? Are they soft and down? Are they inside a lot? Are they outside a lot? Definitely something to keep track of if you keep struggling. But that's good 3 lumps. I think it's his first time he's ever getting any sort of lump. So definitely a way to initiate him to the crew.
Plenty of room.
Join the club.
Right.
3 stars.
3 stars.
I'll spare the introduction here. Brent Rooker. He's 1.6 all-star snub, which makes me upset. And do I have to say whatever the stats were? They were nuts. 10 for 21, 3 doubles, 3 homers, 8 RBIs in 6 games.
So funny, because please. he was 0-3 with a walk in the game that I saw. Like, I must have missed the gravy train with the Brent Rooker, but
unfortunately, you did see probably the one all-star starting pitcher they faced in the past 6 games. So it is like, Houck is nasty. Like, he gave up that, for one, the home run he gave up in the all-star game is to the best baseball player of all time. That's like saying like, "Oh God, you just got blown by on defense. Are you gonna let Michael Jordan do that to you?" It's a little bit of a funny argument of anyone else to say that that's bad on Hauk. So Hauk's been nasty this year, and I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
even told you beforehand, like, I've just seen him pitch a couple games already, like watched a fair amount of, and yeah, he can pitch. But yeah, Brent Rooker, crazy. And
Go
I
Terry. Go Terry.
he's so getting traded. Like he has to. I feel like they should as well, like at this point. Like I think that his value could be very high right now. And we have to remember what he was coming into the year. I remember very well. He was a guy that we were like, if he has a over 800 OPS, we're super happy. We're stoked. Like it was kind of his like prove it year of like, all right, you've shown now recently past 1.5 years that you can hit a bit. Prove it, over the course of one more full season. And gosh, he's done that and then some. And I am worried that if the A's are like, oh, we have like a star now and we're going to keep him for one, he's already 29 or something. And if the A's are like, we think he can accumulate even more value, we'll keep him. And then next year he has a 720 OPS. You've literally lost 90 something percent of the value you would get in a trade for him right now. Literally 90% of what you would get back, you wouldn't get. You would get 10% of what you can get now. So it's tough where it's like if you're the A's and you're not really contending and you're not very competitive, it's like you got to make these types of trades. We look at the Nationals and how their young core, many of which haven't even made their debut yet in the majors, but James Wood just did, so the main two did. They traded Soto to the Padres, and what they got back was James Wood, the current number 4 or number 3 prospect in baseball.
He was number 2,
CJ,
actually.
maybe number 2, because
I think he was number 2.
certain guys go off the list when they no longer become prospects because of major league time that they've played. So at one point he was 4th not that long ago, but I definitely believe that he ended up as 2 kind of safely. One of the best prospects in baseball, and as well as CJ Abrams, who at the time was around that same spot, around top 10, top 20, and now has played a couple seasons, so he's no longer a prospect,
All-star.
obviously, but he is hitting his stride for the first time this year and looks like a guy who clearly can be a consistent all-star. And Robert Hassel, who's in the minors, who's lost a little bit of his prospect shine since getting traded. He was viewed as being much closer to those guys than not. He's now still in the minors and not as much, but I think he's still a top 50 prospect and just has promise. And I think there is even another piece of that trade. So when you look at that, Soto and Brent Rooker, different situations. But Brent Rooker, I think, has more control right now than Soto did at the time, including the Soto inevitable huge contract that he was going to get. You can take off a year of service time because Padres knew that unless they were re-signing him to a huge contract, which they even knew at the time probably wasn't happening, then they weren't going to get every year until 6 for Soto. They're only going to get every year until 5 years of service time, so then they can trade him again. So all that to say, Brent Rooker has less value than Soto did at that time, obviously. But like, gosh, it's like it can't be that much less for a contending team that thinks Brent Rooker could be a missing piece, and then you get him for his entire prime for essentially for free for what baseball teams are playing players these days. So, yeah. Sorry to get on the soapbox and talk about a thing that I was like, saying, oh, I hope it doesn't happen like this whole time. Like I've thought about it, like they need to trade Brent Rooker for this team. And it feels like a thing that they would maybe not do, and that's what has me worried.
It's hard to say. I mean, there's time before the trade deadline anyway. So like, there's still, it still could very well happen, but I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, like I'm sure there's going to be teams that are going to be interested in him. And they would have to give up less. They would have to give up less than they would for like someone like Mason Miller. I mean, a DH. Yeah, I would definitely think
but they're both worth a ton. I mean, at the end of the day, the only thing that would make Miller more valuable is the fact he's younger. Right. Of course, he's 23 or whatever, and there's a chance that he could be a starter at some point. Like the only team that's trading more for Mason Miller than Brent Rooker is a team that has very concrete plans of making Mason Miller a starter At least that's my opinion, because Brent Rooker is a guy, again, I wish I want to have a number to refer to of how many years of service time he's at and how many he has left. I'm going to look it up right now. He's got, bear with me. Yeah, so he's got just about 2 years of service time. So 4 years, age 29 through 33, of a power hitting who's hitting 290, just like position player that's going to play every day. That's way more valuable than any closer, including Mariano Rivera. Potentially, maybe not Mariano Rivera, but it would be a question, you know. So if I'm the A's, like, if a team's going to give me a package that all makes sense, you know, for who Brent Rooker is and kind of what I just explained, like, I feel like you got to take it. And in the past, and in the A's, you know, to their credit, I guess, question mark, they have made those trades, and they don't sit on two guys for too long historically. And if anything, they trade guys too soon or before they should, or that they never should. So they're not against trading. Like the Angels is a team where it feels like every player that's like a perfect trade candidate, the Angels aren't playing well, the player becomes a free agent in 2 years, or there's just many factors that can contribute to a player being just a very tradable player where you can get something back. Feels like the Angels just have never pulled the trigger in the past 5-6 years, and it's really hurt their team. You can see now. You know what they could have gotten back for Shohei? Anything.
Yeah,
they could have gotten anything. And they were like, oh, we have a chance to maybe make a wild card spot, which would be super unprecedented for where we're at this point of the season. We can maybe do that just to lose 2 games in a row and be out of it, instead of getting 2 top 50 prospects and 4 other prospects from an organization. Like, it's incompetence. I hate to say that. I don't want to drag a dude that, like, I think if Dipoto's still there, that guy has been like a top high-ranking executive for decades in Major League Baseball, so it feels weird to say incompetence. But like, yeah, I think just common sense, like, I could totally see being in that position, and literally I'm the guy that's about to say, like, yeah, I'm going to make it so Shohei Ohtani's not walking through the doors of our building every day now. You know, like, it's really like, if you actually put yourself in the shoes, it's like, it's interesting with all the, you know, the more personal, as well as just like just how hard that might be. But that's why, like, you know, the best executives are who they are, and it's like they made some really tough moves that really worked out. And it's like trading DeMar DeRozan for pretty much well-known the least fun guy. You know, like, that's a big thing that if it doesn't work, that hurts a lot. Your morale, the fan base, the team itself, the chemistry of the team with Lowry and DeRozan. But Masai Ujiri was like, I know that even if this doesn't work, it would have to be injury or have to be something kind of wild. Like, I know if we stay healthy, we're going to have as good of a chance as anyone, you know, and that's why he made the move and it worked. And, you know, he's kind of put him slip into the Hall of Fame that night, you know, that they won the championship when that. So anyway, just I feel like you got to make tough moves sometimes. So it's like not trading Brent Rooker here, I almost feel like would be just not making a necessary tough move. Where Mason Miller, if he can be a starter, I think his value can be even higher. Therefore, or if you don't believe Mason Miller can be a starter and someone else does, and they're offering you a package that represents that, you make the move. If people are only offering you kind of best or one of the best closer packages, and you still think he can kind of be a starter, don't take the deal. Like, to me, that's pretty simple, you know, in black and white. So we'll see what happens there. But still, I feel like there should be more talk about Mason Miller and his starting aspirations, given that he's one of the most impressive relief pitching rookies we've ever seen in the game. And the fact that he could be a starter, which would make it give people cause to think he could maybe be one of the best pitchers in the game. And I feel like it's just not really talked about by anyone, like that potential or how that's affecting the trade market for him and stuff like that. So that's frustrating. But anyway, I'm going to step off my soapbox and give you the floor.
That's okay. I think it's because he plays for the A's. That's why nobody's talking about it. I truly no, but like I do truly believe that's why nobody's talking about
it. That's perfect though. Yeah. And you're right.
That's why.
Best jokes are true.
I mean, no, this dude played for, he'd be getting like Paul Skeens type hype if he were, and that's not taking nothing away from what Paul Skeens has been doing this
yeah,
year, which
Skeens
has
is
been like,
nuts.
no, Skeens is so good,
Yeah,
but
no, I know exactly what
uh,
you're saying though. He would be
yeah,
getting a lot of hype if he was playing for one
a larger
of
market
10
team.
teams in the league.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If he were playing
But
for, a lot of
that
like,
still
there's a
doesn't,
few
because
teams.
there still are A's articles and stuff, and I was still just like feeling like there's just a bit of that missing from like just the A's insiders, and they are out there. Sometimes they hide under rocks, but the A's insiders are out there making a living talking about the A's, and I feel like some of those people would once in a while be like, hey, I wonder if Mason Miller's potential of being a starter would impact his trade market. How so? And I maybe I haven't seen the article and it passed me by, but I definitely looked for it. So anyway, but
Cool.
yeah. I mean, I got nothing else on Brent Rooker. Those are my
That's sad.
thoughts. I laid them out there.
Is it? And I'm gonna just push this out there. Is there trivia today?
I realized halfway through I forgot again.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Do I have to give you a pop quiz off the dome?
Oh, if you have one, let me see if I
Yeah,
actually
I got
ever
a
wrote
few.
anything
I got a
down.
couple. I have a
Wait,
few.
let me probably. I just want to see. I might
Because
have written like one down
our
or something.
our so for the viewers, so those of you still watching, the wager was that if we saw TJ McFarland pitch, if I got to see TJ McFarland pitch in the Red Sox game, excuse me, my trivia would have been easier. But if he didn't pitch, it would have gotten way harder. So TJ McFarland did not pitch in the game.
So I will
Which
say
yeah,
too,
really
though, that I don't know if it was ever clarified if the trivia had to be the next episode or not.
okay.
If I just said next trivia, which
Okay.
theoretically, hypothetically, could be a year from now.
I can give you a few trivias though.
All right, don't make me look too stupid.
All right. No guarantees.
No.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll start off with I'll start off with some easy ones. You might actually get some of these. I don't know. What does the T and J in TJ McFarland stand for? Oh, hands up. I don't want to
God.
see. Oh, I mean, like, if,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
I got
All
you.
right.
I'll just do this again.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. This one's hard. I don't even get multiple choice here.
Nope. You did not.
Yeah, it's just like two random names. And Tommy John.
I'll give you half a point. The middle name
Terry
it's,
John?
No, it is Timothy
Terry
John.
was my backup. Was it?
Timothy John McFarland.
Timothy John.
That is his that's what it stands for.
Let me say I'm not getting that in 10 guesses. Within 10 guesses, I'm not getting it.
One of our past episodes we looked this up. I will say, because we looked
That's
up
good.
like,
That's
where
a
he
good
was
question
from.
then.
Yeah.
I'm bad. Bad at remembering.
So you like the military at all?
Yeah, sure.
No more or less than the next guy, I guess. Because this player, his alma mater was the Citadel. Who is this player? Went to the Citadel, which I believe is in South
Damn,
Carolina.
I'm really getting a taste of my own medicine here. This is very similar to the type of trivia questions I had to ask, and it felt better being on the other side of it. Can you give me pitcher position player? Feel free to say no, but fishing for whatever I can get.
I'm gonna say I'll say he sees starting time.
Okay, so that can mean either still, though?
It can be either, but he typically starts.
Interesting. And
Typically
one more
start.
thing, it's an active player that like currently
Yep,
theoretically
active player still on the roster.
could pitch or play tomorrow if they had to.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
That is right.
My initial thought's Brett Harris, but I'm not going to say that yet.
Okay.
me another second here. Give me another second. I'm able to, it's funny. I'm able to rule out certain guys. I do know we're certain of some of them went to school, and then some of them, of course, are not American. I can't rule all of them out. I can't even rule most of them out, it feels like. One more second here.
It's all right, no worries.
See starting time. The shoe?
Not the shoe. It is JP Sears, actually.
Oh, interesting.
The shoe is from Michigan.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the shoe is from Michigan. I believe Eastern Michigan was his alma mater, but JP Sears is from Sumter, South Carolina, and his alma mater is the Citadel.
A lot of South Carolina pitchers I've noticed just in baseball. I feel like they're,
Well, I mean, I guess maybe perhaps as a generalization, but I think like, Southeast United States tends to, yield, a good amount of like baseball prospects.
Definitely baseball in general.
College baseball is definitely bigger, like in like the Southeast. Like I guess you could say the same thing for college football too, but college baseball.
I feel like I hear of a lot of states and like players from those states. Weirdly, I feel like South Carolina, like opposed to like North Carolina or any other state right around it, like has just yielded a lot of starting pitchers. But that could also just be totally circumstantial. But anyway, this is a good question. I wish I got that question right.
It's all good. All right. I actually didn't have a third question planned, so maybe just
not?
walked. Maybe just I didn't have a third question. So maybe just you just walked.
Jeez.
But yeah, it goes down as an 0 for 2. Unless you want to hit me with
fair
one.
Enough.
You can hit me with one if you want.
I'm just seeing if I have anything, because I sometimes will think of something and I'll write it down, or I'll come across something and I'll write it down. Did I ever tell you about my sketch comedy idea of a of a guy that goes into a bar and he's like, oh, I have to investigate your bar, and then like 2 minutes later another guy comes into the bar wearing the exact same clothes, and then he's like, hey, can I investigate your bar? And then like within like 10 minutes you've got like 15 people wearing the exact same clothing with like magnifying glasses, like looking around the bar.
No, you did tell me this. Yes. Yeah.
I just came across that in my notes. I
oh, that's funny. Yeah,
like
no, I do remember this being a bit that you discussed with me in the past.
Very like Eric Andre, I guess. But anyway, I've got nothing else. You know, that's it for me. And we're at 117. We've definitely given the people some stuff to chew on here.
Big news if you're taking that huge flight, 18-hour flight to Singapore. Shout out Kevin Lowe.
Yeah. Yeah, if Kevin Lowe is listening, shout out. Pop this in and learn more about the A's.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Good use of time.
The A's are still on a break, as is the rest of Major League Baseball. I am, I guess, supposedly going to be replaced by Andrew Broadus potentially next week. So we'll see. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking with us for the last hour and 20 minutes of lots to chew on indeed. So I can't tell if that means like, lots to chew on in terms of A's content or
that's what I say. I told the people, they had a lot to chew on now. And their audience is just agreeing with that sentiment,
Except for Decker Harris, that little no tooth little
kid can't think of anything yet. Brain
doesn't
work
yet. Exactly. Except for that baby stuff. Yeah, it's okay. I
DBD, man.
I was like, wait, no, that's not his initials. Oh, nope, it is.
Will and I are gonna be applying to a job one day, and we're gonna be like, "Damn shit! Did they watch that one baby section when we're like talking smack about that guy's baby?" Oh man, I hope that didn't negatively inform them of my character. You gotta live with telling the truth, man. That's what podcasting's all about.
I did not say that any of that was the truth. So you're truly just putting words in my mouth at that point to sabotage my character. I'm just
Well, all right. So let's say you go around and you say a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, he's just saying the truth," and then you go back at the guy. Wait, I never said I was saying the truth. You got to live by what you're saying, man. That's not how the world works. Can't get mad at someone echoing your sentiments, and then. So
I don't
yeah,
know. I'm out of options here. I'm trying this kitchen sink approach, I guess. But
yeah. Yeah,
all right,
I let the world know, man.
let him know.
Will's anti-Decker, man, except for the baby stuff. I hope we go into a pitch meeting at some point and they're like, "Oh man, the podcast is fantastic, except for the baby stuff. That
Yeah.
stuff needs to go." Oh man.
This is
Oh,
and this is really fun. This is really funky. So the next three series for the A's goes Angels, Astros, Angels. How many
yeah.
games against the Angels are these guys going to play?
Again, I think those are just the ones that don't happen, and
Dude,
this is
like
like a week
people,
where
I feel like Rob Manfred, like the commission is like, no, like people aren't gonna be watching Oakland baseball post All-Star break, so like might as well just have them play the Angels for the rest of the damn
bunch of
season.
these have weddings to attend
I know,
and some
seriously,
family
yeah.
stuff, and yeah, just have
We
them
got to
play
gear
the
up for the move to
Angels.
Sacramento.
Exactly, 6 games off. It's
Yeah,
nice. But anyway, yeah, can't wait to talk about it soon.
yeah. So we'll see you in a bit. It might be a bit till I see the crowd at least. So thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
We'll
tune
be
in
in
next
touch
week.
soon.
Might catch a new face that knows
You might.
less about the A's than Will, but what he doesn't know about the A's, he makes up for in charisma. So
Yeah, I'm gonna be. I will
in
be there and commenting
abundance.
if I can. But
That'd be
cool.
awesome. uh, Good stuff. Cool. Well, thanks everyone that has tuned in live and everyone that will tune in not live over streaming and Spotify. We're going to try to get live on Apple Podcasts, or not literally live, but we'll try to be on Apple Podcasts soon. And I know, yeah, definitely we have some people that always check in after the fact. So we really appreciate you guys. And something we should always take into account more is the fact there are people that aren't literally looking at us. So if we ever make any visual references or refer to a comment that was made without saying what the comment was, we apologize. We'll get better at it. And yeah, have a lovely week, everybody.
All right. Peace, everybody.
Wait. I
Oh.
can do wait a second.
Did you make this?
No.
Ah, okay. I got so excited there. I like it though.